Aloha and welcome to Remote Promote. Thank you for joining us today. For those of you who have not been with us before, this is a project that was created to support business owners and entrepreneurs with the online communities, and that the online communities would be surprised and delighted at the talents and treasures that they find here. And today it is my honor and pleasure to introduce to you Terilee Harrison. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, Maureen, thank you for inviting me. It's such a privilege to be here with you.
So we are talking to Terilee all the way from Singapore. Imagine it's actually a day later. So Terilee's obsessed with networking and people and making connections. Her passion is helping others to reach their goals and accomplish their dreams. For the past 14 years, she has worked in business networking and relationship marketing with thousands of entrepreneurs at TEAM Referral Network in Southern California. She moved to Singapore in 2017 and discovered virtual business networking in 2018. She's been all in the virtual world ever since. She believes networking online is here to stay. I would have to agree with you on that one. If you're ready to increase the income and impact you're making from your current networking efforts, she can help you grow your networking nationally or internationally with ease. And she would like to invite you to visit one of her TEAM Referral Network virtual chapters and introduce you to an extraordinary group of professionals who have referrals for you. And if you happen to be an influencer, she can guide you how to launch and lead your own chapter. Wow, I think it's so great you're doing what you're doing, and how great you did it a couple years ago before it was needed.
The interesting thing, thank you. The interesting thing, Maureen, and we've talked about this, is that prior to COVID, people resisted it. People like, I knew we could be out and about on our phones, on our laptops. We could travel and still attend our networking meetings, right? But people said, I can't network on screen. I love to network face to face. And a year ago, people had to take a look at it, and they discovered it wasn't as bad as they thought.
Right? You were
Yeah,
on the cutting edge. Did you even think that one
I
day
would
we
have never guessed. I would have never guessed. No, 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 no. And but also imagine overnight I went from having almost no competition to the entire world became my competition, right?
wow. Well,
Think
we
about
stick
that.
makes us better, doesn't it?
Yes, and truly what I believe is that there's plenty for everyone, and some people will love us, some people will love someone else, and that is so okay. So yes, but what an interesting time, and what an opportunity to have been there, kind of waiting for everyone to come take a look.
Right. Well, I know for myself, I personally have really, really enjoyed being part of your team network referral group. And I just love the energy and the commitment and the bountiful just leads and generation, the things that are generated from this group. I really am enjoying it.
Well, I know that we feel very honored to have you there, someone that's such a great networker as you are. So I think it's win-win.
Oh, thank you. So tell us a little bit in more detail. What is it that you do and what sets you apart in this industry currently?
So we know there's many online networking meetings, Maureen, of all types, right? We can have a once a month thing. We happen to fall into that weekly referral meeting genre. And I would say for people, there's some people who love that kind of thing. There's some people who don't care for that kind of thing. Inside of that genre, I would say, I always tell people that we are a kinder, gentler organization. And so if you had an experience with another weekly group that you were like, oh, I don't know what I thought about that. There are other cultures of organizations out there that some people might like to try, but what sets us apart is we're changing the focus for these virtual groups. Can you have a local group in your city? Yes, of course you could. That just meets online, right? So you're not going to commute. Like imagine like in LA or Chicago, some of the bigger cities, not having to commute in the mornings. That can be a big win-win, I think. But this is more, we can be region based and be like all of Southern California as an example. We could be nationally based and be a domestic US chapter. We can have, is Hawaii considered domestic US?
We are part of US. I'm not sure if they're considered domestic.
Okay, maybe I would need to stop saying domestic, but a United States chapter, a North America chapter. But what I love, Maureen, is the ability to talk to a business owner who is in the UK and says, I want to meet people in the US. And I'm able to introduce them in and we can bring them together to network. So we have groups that are North America, Australia. We have groups that are UK, North America. We have a UK, South Africa group.
Wow.
National Australia, the sky's the limit to what we can create. And I think that's what sets us apart in our weekly referral networking world.
That's so great. And what had you create this to begin with, back before everybody was doing it?
Okay, so I have to give credit where credit's due. And to say we did start in November of 2018, Maureen, but we actually dived in 7 years ago. I had a networking friend in my life, James Spears, and James was a visionary. And I don't know whether to say James is truly like a visionary and could see the things, or whether James actually, there's people who like see the vision and know what it can be. I don't know what that is for him. And my dear friend passed away a couple years ago. But it was James who first brought the idea of the virtual world and virtual team to us. And so we tried 7 years ago. I have pictures of me on an iPad with brown hair. So it was networking with people from the state of Washington over to Connecticut and in between, and saying, I love what I do. This was 7 years ago. And but technology wasn't ready for us. And people definitely weren't then. If they weren't ready in 2019 and the beginning of 2020, 7 years ago, forget it. They were like, okay, what is that? But technology had us pinned in Google Hangouts with 10 people. So you could never really grow a group. Right? You always were worried about, will we have enough room for everyone? So that was the clincher back then. But it was James. I am not sure if James wouldn't have exposed me to this 7 years ago. If back in 2018 I had moved to Singapore, left my all my networking connections in Los Angeles, back far away, right? And it was then that I said, hey, I want to try that again. I don't know that we'd be here today talking about this. I might have been one of the ones scrambling in when COVID came to come online, because I had to. So interesting how life will take us on that journey, and we'll have that experience and what we do with it. So I am grateful always to James, and I feel he's looking down on us now, and he's just so giddy at what he knew could be. He knew that this could be. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's great. You're carrying on the torch too.
Yes, yes, yes.
So, what successful tips do you have to provide today for business owners and entrepreneurs? What are your top 3 tips?
I love that question. Let's talk networking. I think I like to stay in my lane and have people go, oh yeah. The one thing that I would recommend is the importance of not just networking in one place. That for all of us, we need to network several places. Do we need to network ourselves to death? No. But how about 2 to 3 organizations, and they might meet different needs. So one of them might be something local. One of them might be something like this that is more, and there's lots of organizations out there that you can hop onto. And I think that will meet your needs to expand outside your direct area if you are a borderless boundary business. And truly, if you are wanting to, like, I find, like, when I want to expand in the UK, I went and joined UK groups. I wanted to expand in Australia. I did some Australia networking. Like, be very targeted about what you're doing. So that's number one. Number two, it's so important that when you are networking, that you have a succinct message in what you're looking for. We will often show up and we're not really prepared, and we kind of say what we think we should say for the moment. We feel good. We feel we went networking and we said who we are, but we didn't really give a message that will stick with people. Maureen, when you cook spaghetti, I had an Italian friend who years ago taught me to throw it against the wall to see if it would stick, and it was done. Do you do that?
No, I do not.
Have you ever heard that?
I have. I've heard
Oh,
it.
okay. So my Italian friend, so I figured it had to be true. But anyway, we want but that's beside the point. But we want our commercials to be sticky. So having a sticky commercial means you're going to ask for something big. You're going to ask for something specific. And I call it the big ask. And the big joke about the big ask, and why I made my very expensive fancy prop, is that I was first networking with Australians about a year ago, and they didn't understand my accent. And I was talking about you have to put your big ask out there when you're networking, and they didn't hear the K. So they all thought I was like cussing in the call. So that's the big joke. But this is not a joke. This is not a joke about being specific. You know, I was on a meeting yesterday and some people said they want to be on podcasts. And I have people to introduce them to, but if they don't ask for that, I won't know to make that introduction. It's up to us. So we want to be prepared. We want to be prepared. So that's my second tip, would just be the importance of being succinct in who you say you are and what you're looking for. Also, dumb down. It's going to sound really funny, but dumb down, if you will, what you do. Too often we are like over people's heads and they have no idea what we do. And there's no need to be super big and super fancy in your introduction. Just as a matter of fact, who you are, what your business is, who you serve, how you help them. Like the simpler you can be, so people go, oh, I know what Marie does, you know, the better. Because if you leave them guessing, they may not, you know, nothing may click and they won't be able to respond to you. So
Right.
the third one is going to be leveraging power partner relationships. We call them power partners at TEAM, and other organizations may call them some other things, but this would be the people who share your clients, and it's not competition. So if Maureen is an example with her insurance business, working in the financial industry, if she can team up, if you can team up as an example with other people who do business in that arena, but they're not competition. So perhaps it would be attorneys, CPAs, right? The other people that serve clients, and then for me, if I'm in a business referral organization, I help people grow their business. So other people who help people grow their business are great power partners for me. So think about it like business networking, the website people, the social media people, we can all share clients back and forth. So think about, for the people watching, who is that for you? Who is that for you? And this is who I recommend we spend 80% plus of our networking time with. It's not that I can't meet I always call out the dog groomer, and dog groomers are very important people, but it's not that I can't meet a dog groomer and want to network with the dog groomer, and the dog groomer might become my next best friend. I don't know, but that is not the highest and best use of my time in my networking, nor for you, Maureen, right? And so building these relationships, cultivating these relationships, this is where it's at, to be able to do more strategic partnerships, collaborations, being able to more synergistically be able to refer to people. And I believe when you have the right 5 to 10 of those in your back pocket, that, you know, all these things like Facebook ads, yes, they're great, but they're not so important when we have like stunning relationships in our life that we can easily refer. So those are my 3 tips.
Those are fantastic. Thank you. I learned a lot today.
You're so
That was-
welcome.
And finally, before we complete, do you have any specials for the online community at this time?
I think my biggest thing I would love to offer to the community is the opportunity to come and visit one of our meetings. Just come, and now you know you're going to have your message ready, but you can go to vteamnetwork.com. You'll see a list of meetings, and they're listed like North America and beyond, Australia. You'll find like the time zones that you're looking for. Find a day and time, and come in with your message ready. Come in with your big ask, and take a look. And inside on vteamnetwork.com, you'll also see every first and third Thursday, we have what we call the global gathering. And that's when we invite our members from all over the world, guests. You never know who's going to be there, and the value of who might end up in a breakout room with you that you might meet. So VTeam Network will get you all the information you need to visit the meeting. And I think that would be my greatest thing that I would love the people watching to know, is we just invite you to be our guest.
Oh, well, that's how I got interested. I came as a guest and immediately wanted to jump in. So that's great. And thank you for that. And thank you for being here.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. Thank you so much. And would love to chat with you anytime, my friend.
Oh, thank you. And we'll put all the information where you can connect to these groups in the chat section so you can see it for yourself. And feel free to just come when and where it works for you. And for those of you that are interested in participating, promoting your business here on Remote Promote, we would love to hear from you. Or if you know of somebody that would be interested, we would love to hear from you as well. And until next time, aloha.